Good morning, dear viewer. Today is on 17th February, the year 2022. We are in week 6 in the ordinary time. My name is Alex and this is BEA-M Media. In our show today, Saints Pedagogy. Today we start by handling the question, do saints have to perform miracles? Do saints have to perform miracles? Listen, for one to be canonized as a saint, ordinarily, at least 2 miracles must have been performed through the intercession of the blessed after their death. But for beatific confessors, we have what we call beatific confessors who were not declared martyrs, only 1 miracle is required. Actually, these are some of the steps which one has to undergo for him to become a saint. Step 1 is to wait for 5 or less years or more years so that the process to start officially. The step 2 one has to become a servant of God. Right now we have Maurice Otunga. He is the servant of God right now in the process towards becoming a saint. Step 3, one has to show proof of a life of heroic virtue, a life of sanctity, a holy life. And step 4 is about verified miracles, substantiated miracles. And at the end of it all, one becomes a saint. You can see that it's a very simple process, but it's complicated as well. But all the same, those are some of the steps one has to undergo to be elevated to that level of being a saint. And actually, this one is done by only the Pope. The Supreme Pontiff, he has the authority to declare one a saint. And this one is done from the higher house that's in Rome. Actually, it is his ministerial, if we call it a ministerial duty, as the Pope, as the Supreme Pontiff, to ensure that he has declared one a saint. I believe we got something, and in the next episode we shall also handle the question, the perennial question, which saint lived a life of virginity? That's what we're going to have a look at in the next episode. Today is a great day, being on 17th February 2022. We're celebrating great people in the church, the 7 holy founders, 7 meaning perfect number. So today is a great day. We're celebrating the 7 holy founders of the Servite order. This is their story, just a little bit of their story, which I've tried to capture for them. And the church's 5th mendicant order had its beginnings in Florentine Italy in the middle of the 13th century, when the city was torn with political strife as well as the Catholic heresy. During this time, we had a lot of political strife, a lot of political dentation, and also we had a lot of heresy, which proclaimed that good and evil each had a separate creator. You can imagine how heretic it was. Morals were at their lowest ebb, and the religion had all but lost its relevance. On the feast of the Assumption in the year 1233, our Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to the 7 members of a Florentine confraternity named Laudesi, the praises of Mary, from laudare to sing. So when they were at prayer and bade them withdraw into solitude. Accordingly, these young noblemen of the city, 2 of whom were married and 2 others widowed, after having settled their personal affairs and made adequate provision for their dependents, established themselves several miles north of the city of the secluded Monte Scenario. That's where they retired to for prayer. Here the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to them again and showed them the black habits she desired them to wear in memory of her sorrow and desolation at the foot of the cross, and instructed them to found the Ordo Fraturum Saphorum Sancta Mariae, Order of Friar Servants of Mary, under the rule of St. Augustine. Actually, the servants of Mary, they have the black habits which they dress in as a remembrance of the commemoration of the sorrowing mother. And they carried out these directives under the guidance of St. Peter of Verona, devoting themselves to much prayer, penance, and silence on the one hand, and teaching, preaching, and various ministerial activities on the other hand. The new order grew with such astonishing rapidity that by the beginning of the 14th century, the Servite numbered 10,000, housed in 100 monasteries and missions spread across every continent, including the subcontinent of India. They spread also to India and other parts of the world. A second order for cloisters, nuns, and the third order for active works of charity and education were also founded towards the end of the 13th century, the later by St. Juliana Falconieri. The other day we celebrated St. Juliana Falconieri. She was the niece to St. Alexis. St. Alexis Falconieri, whom also is among the 7 holy founders. Only one of the founders, St. Alexis Falconieri, a lay brother, lived to see the foundation raised to the dignity of a religious order by Pope Benedict XI in the year 1304. Actually, St. Alexis Falconieri died in the year 1310, actually on 17th February 1310. The exact date of death of each of the rest actually is not known. But in the year 1649, when the main altar of the chapel at Monte Senario was being remodeled, the remains of 7 bodies were discovered, having been moved several times. These now lie enshrined in the chapel of the 7 holy founders at Monte Senario. All the 7 were however canonized as a group by Pope Leo XIII in the year 1888. These were great people in the church. Actually, we learn a lot of things from them. That aspect of coming together, the 7 of them, to pray, it's not something easy, but they made it. And through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary, they were able to make steps. And we learn a lot of things as we have captured their story. The OSM is among the 5 holy mendicant orders. We have Dominicans, Franciscans, Carmelites, Augustinians, and many more. So they were the 7 founders, as we have captured. They were Sosthenes, Ehud, Amadeus, Bonvillus, Bonjuncta, Alexis, Manetus. These were 7 great people who came together with the same aspiration and inspiration to serve as servants. Mendicancy means beggars. This is how they started. And actually, if you have a look at the starting point of many of these missionary congregations, that's how they started. By begging, they were able to establish themselves, to open up more apostolates, and to carry on with their daily activities. And that's how it started also with the 7 holy founders. They were from Florence and Italy. By then, the city was torn with political strife and Cathar heresy, which proclaimed that good and evil each had a separate creator. You can imagine such kind of an heresy during that time. They're establishing themselves, and morals were at their lowest ebb, and the religion had lost its relevance. Actually, this one now directed to the metaphysical struggle. The metaphysical study of good and evil in the world. I would not like us to go there, but rather saying that's how during that's what was during this time. The Blessed Virgin, as we have heard, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared on the 7 members of a Florentine confraternity named Laudesi, Praises of Mary, when they were at prayer during the Feast of the Assumption in the year 1233. Tracing back the starting point, their coming together, and how they carried on up to date. These men were great merchants, but they sold and they distributed what they had to retire to solitude. You can imagine how rich they were, but they decided to disseminate out all what they had so that they are ready for the mission. And they established themselves on the secluded Monte Senario. Here, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to them and showed them the black habit in memory of our sorrows and the desolation at the foot of the cross. The servants of Mary, they have their black habit they're wearing, and each and every time they have different celebrations also to commemorate themselves and also to commemorate actually the sorrowing mother. It's also one of their charism. Actually, one of their charism they embedded on the Marian devotion, and they founded the OSM under the rule of St. Augustine, as captured in the De Genda Origine. In their archive also they have the teachings about themselves, how they organized themselves. Especially this one is captured in one of their famous article, De Genda Origine. Of the 7 founders, St. Alexis Falconieri was the youngest, the uncle to St. Juliana Falconieri, whom we celebrated the other day not long time ago. And St. Alexis Falconieri died in the year 1310, actually on 17th February the year 1310. The 7 Holy Founders were canonized by Pope Leo XIII in the year 1888, and we pray for their intercession. Actually, each and every time we have to also to increase our devotion to them. And happy feast to all the OSM members in Uganda and Kenya, especially in South Africa, as we're celebrating today. You are great people in the church. Actually, there's a very famous quote here by St. Vincent de Paul. Listen, he writes, "Each of our days is marked with the protection of Mary, who is exceedingly anxious to be our mother, and when we desire to be her children." St. Vincent de Paul capturing that great famous quote here to teach us more about the Blessed Virgin Mary. And that's why each and every day we have to increase our faith and also seek the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. We can do this also by going an extra mile to study about Mary. We can do it under the study of Mariology, so that we know more about the participation of Mary in the church, the participation of Mary in the lives of Christians. It has been a very great moment to be with you, brothers and sisters, wherever you're watching from. This is BEA-M Media, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching and following our programs right from here, BEA-M Media. You can go on our social media platforms. You can go on Facebook, you can go on YouTube, and just get us on BEA-M Media. You subscribe and you support us in one way or the other. And also you can get us on our website via www.beammedia.com. My name is Alex. Have a very fruitful Thursday. Be blessed.